Now we're getting in the news. It is news time, August 27th. The Mets have turned it around a little bit lately, winning 4 of the last 5. And even though they did end up blowing a late lead last night, they were able to pull off a 6-5 victory against their nemesis, the Philadelphia Phillies, their 9th home win in a row against said team. Brandon Nimmo singled home the winning run in the 9th. Pete Alonso had 4 hits in the New York Mets, 165 like I mentioned. Alonso also delivered a 2-run double in the 5-run 5th to give the 5-2 lead to the Mets. Later, Harrison Bader ended up taking a guy who is mind-bogglingly struggling, and that is Ryan Helsley, gave up 2 home run Bader to tie the game in the 8th. We'll talk about him a little bit more later. And he, unfortunately, was booed off the field. I've been there, bud. I've been there. Juan Soto, Mark Vientos each provided the RBI single for the Mets, who won their 4th game, like I mentioned, after being 5-16 in the last 21. So they need this. Edwin Diaz also got a 5-out save, striking out 4. He is now 6-2 on the year. And they've now pulled within 5 games the Philadelphia Phillies, taking the last 2 and winning the series. And they're going for the sweep tonight, which they need desperately. So, Mets playing a little better as of late, but we're going to talk a lot more about them in just one moment. Next up, Isaac Collins sacrifice fly for the Brewers past the Diamondbacks 9-8 after blowing a 6-run lead. The Brewers took an early 6-0 lead for the second night in a row. First game they won 7-5, but it was slowly whittled away and they eventually lost it later in the game. But they did what the best teams usually do, and that is pick up their pitchers, and vice versa. If you're going to go and you're going to have something astronomically happen or a huge momentum shift, you got to count on the other side of the ball picking you up, and that is what the Brewers have done really well all year, and that is what is making me feel good about their playoff chances this season and how far they can go because they are so good at this. Contreras and Bryce Ring each hit 2 homers from Milwaukee, and Gabriel Moreno had a 3-run shot for Arizona. Kyle Bradish is back for the Orioles. I would argue maybe a little late to save their season, but he looked sharp, striking out 10 in 6 innings on the way to a 5-0 loss because he was opposed by the Red Sox Lucas Giolito, who only gave 4 hits in 8 runs of stellar pitching, completing up that shutout. Though I would be very excited if I'm you Orioles fans because he looked like the ace that he is, striking out 10, walking 0, looking very sharp after coming off Tommy John, which is something that you can't say every guy does. And he threw 51 of 81 pitches for strikes, walked nobody. So let's take it. Feather cap, get ready for 2026, and he is going to be a major part of their eventual success if they're able to bounce back. More big dumper. He has now hit, that is Cal Raleigh, obviously. He has now hit his 50th home run, joining Mickey Mantle as the only switch hitter, one of the only 2 switch hitters with 50 home runs in a season, and he became the 8th player in Major League history to hit that half-century mark in the month of August. He is also a catcher. He's a catcher, and he plays in the bottom 3 hardest places to hit homers. So all that combined is pretty dang impressive. If you weren't impressed enough, he is the first ever in the history of Major League Baseball, first switch hitter ever to hit 20 home runs or more from both sides of the plate. Are you serious? And he's only the second Mariners player to ever do it. Joining, you may have heard of him, Ken Griffey Jr., who hit 56 in 1997 and again in 98. Another little fun Ken Griffey Jr. fact, 1998, that might sound familiar. That is the year that Mark McGwire hit 70 and Sammy Sosa hit 66. Ken Griffey Jr. hit 56 that year, and we don't even know about it. That's how many home runs were hit in 1998. Woo! Big dumper. Is he our MVP? Find out next week on Dragon. Okay, that's not the right. Moving forward, Kyle Tucker, interestingly enough, is raking once again. And it turns out that he actually broke his hand in June when he was hit on June 1st. Now, this is an interesting situation because there was a comment not by his own manager, but by Brewers manager Pat Murphy, said, I think Tucker's hurt. I don't have any information, but Tucker's not the same. Now, he was hit on the hand on June 1st and then subsequently had a 939 OPS for the rest of June. So they're like, oh, yeah, he's fine. He's fine. But what you need to know about hand fractures is at the beginning, sometimes bracing, taping, stuff can handle it. But if it doesn't heal properly, the inflammation that you get around the area starts to become the problem because it never goes away because it's constantly trying to heal it. So if you're constantly aggravating it over and over again, you can get into this idea where normal is a little bit painful. And so what we saw, because we were getting ready to do Sunday Night Baseball, that is a Nerdcast. Shout out to Kevin Brown and Mike Petriello. They're the double goats. I'm talking about stats. We were talking about what's wrong with Tucker, and I said, does it have anything to do with his hand? They're like, well, that doesn't make sense because he's been hitting so well. And it turns out that because that inflammation never went away, you get in this normal where you're not really that excited about swinging. Like you're mentally like, ooh, like when you swing and you don't really realize it because you've been doing it for a while. His bat speed had dropped 2.5 miles an hour at that point. So they gave him some rest early in August. They gave him a few days off without having gone to the IL. And since, let's see, Tucker appears to be heating back up. Over the last 4 games, he has 6 hits and 3 home runs. And his home run on last Friday, was his first in over a month. So I think we found it. So Kyle Tucker, he's back. He's back. And now they just need to get PCA going, and the Cubs are back to being a lineup to be reckoned with, even though they were already pretty good. All right?
Kratz, if you need to pay rent for your apartment and you're not getting anything for it, then you probably haven't heard of Built.
You have to pay rent every single month. Why not get some points that you can redeem for other things that are a lot more fun than paying rent, like flights, hotels, Uber rides?
That's right. And it doesn't stop there. Built is about making your entire neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine at your favorite local restaurants, and you can earn additional points with VIP treatment at certain fitness studios. And you can also enjoy exclusive experiences that are just for Built members. They announce them every month. Built is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent is finally working for you, and you can earn points on rent and around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbuilt.com/foul. That's joinbilt.com/FOUL. Make sure to use our URL so they know that FT sent you. Get after it.
Last couple little things here before we move into our main subject. The BWAA has finally done the thing that I've wanted them to do forever. And this relief pitcher has a smile on his face. The BWAA, that is baseball broadcaster. I can't remember what BWAA is. Okay, sue me. They now have a Relief Pitcher of the Year award. It's not going to be put into play this year. Now, by the way, Reliever of the Year is different. That is not a writer's award. I believe that is voted on amongst, it's like a fan and player award. So this would be a writer's award, which they usually have a bit deeper statistical analysis. Now, I think this is going to give an opportunity for relievers who are not closers to get a little bit of love. I believe when this was announced, the picture that was being used was actually Adrian Morejon from the San Diego Padres, who I believe probably would win the award this year because he has been nails when I'm not watching. Somehow, the two blow-ups he had this year, I was watching the game live. I'm sorry about that, Adrian. That's on me. That happens. I am a bad luck charm for more people than you would imagine. But I think this is wonderful. I think that this is a new thing that relievers can get a little bit of love for, and possibly a non-closer, because there's like 2 non-closers in the Hall of Fame total, which is just sucks. So I'm just glad there's a little bit more love. Maybe this thing will get built into some incentives. Guys can make a little bit more money if they do have an insane year, and they don't just get thrown into the pile of, they're pretty good, and you look and they have like a .6 and 70 innings. You're like, pretty good. Are you kidding? Like a Wade Davis type guy? That's nuts. That's nuts. So shout out to all the relievers out there. Love you guys. And the more love we can get you, the better. And then lastly, in our news, something that I think is stupid. President Donald Trump demands Roger Clemens be enshrined in the Hall of Fame because, you guessed it, they golfed together. And so that is all you really need to do to get him on your side. Social media post on Sunday, Trump argued that Clemens belongs in the Hall of Fame and should be inducted immediately. Now, statistically, I think we all agree. He is probably a top 5 pitcher of all time, though. Interestingly enough, did you know he struck out less guys than he had innings? Which that always boggles my mind with these guys who I imagine being the most nastiest guys ever. Strikeouts weren't as big of a deal for him as I remember them being. But anyway, here's the quote from the president. He said, "I played golf yesterday with the great Roger Clemens and his son, Casey. Roger Clemens was easily one of the few greatest pitchers of all time, winning 354 games, the Cy Young Award 7 times, a record, which is, yeah, that's crazy, and played in 6 World Series, winning 2. He was second to Nolan Ryan in most strikeouts. Actually, he was third. I don't know if you guys remember a guy named Randy Johnson, but I still think that he was better than the Rocket, even though the Rocket was still very, very, very good, and should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, ! Or all caps now." So, just to be clear, Clemens was third all time. It's very clear he was reading off a paper. I don't know how they got wrong, but surprise. And it was only a couple months ago that, if you remember, that Mr. Trump also wanted Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Now, my question is, I don't know why he cares. I don't know why it's important other than just like doing a favor for your buddy, but he seems to be really interested in being able to say something and then have it just appear. So in my opinion, I think we should do what we always do and have it arbitrarily be picked by the writers, because it already is kind of an arbitrary award going to the Hall of Fame. It is. It's statistically based, but it's not like hardcore standards. So let's just stick with what we got, and maybe we just, I don't know, ignore them on this one. Actually, I'm just gonna say it. No.